Hey everybody, Vaughn here with the Vonster Vlog, and today is episode 3 of the Vonblogvlog vidcast. Getting better at saying it. And I wanted to go through and answer some of y'all's questions from episode 2. Be sure that if you guys have any questions for me or any comments or anything, please leave those down below of this video. And I wanted to go through, I've kind of scanned over some of the questions. Oh, that's going to get annoying. But light reflecting off of my tablet. I've gone through and kind of skimmed over some of the questions, and I wanted this to kind of be a shorter video because we're outside and I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes, even though I do have mosquito dunks in the little mosquito pond. I'm going to apologize in advance for we're probably going to have some traffic and some train noises in this video just because there's always a train. But we're going to start out with Holly had asked, hey Holly, if I ever had any problems like cleaning chicken butts. And that was something that whenever we got chicks, we've always, every time, experienced at least a little bit of whether it was the antibiotics that they were treated with at the hatchery, or if it was a change of feed, or just who knows what. But I did get into the habit of every day, just to prevent any kind of buildup, with a warm, damp washcloth, just slightly damp washcloth, brushing and kind of cleaning off their back ends. I don't know what to recommend for irritation, though. I'd give that a Google. But while they're little chicks, I try to get them very used to me handling their beaks, checking, moving them around, moving their wings and checking their wings and stuff, handling their feet as well as their back ends, because that way, while they're chicks and they're everything's new, I don't know what's going on, get them used to it then. That way, when they're adults and have much bigger wings and are much more prone to being, indignant about being handled in such a manner, they're a little bit more used to it than if I never bothered with it. And it gets me a little bit more used to, strong-arming an animal around maybe in a way that it's not comfortable with, because whenever you've got a mite problem, or whenever you've got injuries or something, you need to be able to confidently and successfully handle your bird. At least is my perspective on it. Same thing with the rabbits. I get them used to being turned onto their backs, getting their feet handled, getting wrapped up in a towel too, because whenever we do their toes, we'll wrap them up in a towel that way, because they'll get uncomfortable and they'll kick, and shoot, I kick too when somebody's messing with my toes. But it's just getting them used to it from early on, because that way, if I do ever have to, treat an abscess wound, or just anything, or sore nipples or something, if I've got a doe who's nursing and her nipples get mad, it's nice to be able to confidently handle the animal, because the last thing that I need is for them to be upset and me to be upset. If they're scared and I'm too timid and I don't know what I'm doing, and then that's just going to make it worse for the animal. Whereas if I can go in with confidence and experience, that's going to be, it'll be over faster, so hopefully it won't be traumatizing for the animal, but if it is, we'll have done it. So yeah, if your chick's dirty booty doesn't clear out, I definitely give it a Google, or talk to the folks at your feed store. They might have a better idea. It's not a question, but Heidi says, I couldn't possibly think of anything better to pop up at nearly 1 a.m. as I battle my usual insomnia. Huggles. Well, I hope you got some sleep, and I'm really happy to keep you company, because there is nothing I hate worse than being laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, just too tired to be productively working, but can't fall asleep. Oof. Oh, goodness. Ooh, Brittany says, my daughter's kindergarten class just hatched chicks, and now we have 3. The egg thing helps. I've been doing loads of research. New territory for us. Post pictures to Discord, Brittany. Baby chicks are so cute. You know what variety they are? Did I just get pooped on by a bird? Probably. What was that? Oh, well. Worse things have happened, I guess. Ooh, Tracy Williams recommends checking out deprivation tanks for powering down, plugging in instead of just powering down, to kind of recharge and stuff. I had seen like deprivation tanks, I think, like the first Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. Yeah, like doesn't he sleep? Like it starts with him emerging from his deprivation tank that he sleeps in. I think it's been ages, but I think that was the first time I ever saw one, and I was like, that'd be weird because I hate getting water in my ears, as odd as that sounds. So it's like, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to try, but also, I don't know, if I don't trust the person that's locking me into the tank, I don't know how I'd feel about all that. Like, I would hate to get stuck somewhere and start feeling claustrophobic. Because, I mean, yeah, I don't really put myself in situations. Like, I'm not, like, terrified. Like, I can be inside of, like, a car or even, like, my enclosed hammock, and I didn't get claustrophobic, but it's, like, whenever we watch movies and they're, like, Shawshank Redemption and he's climbing through the tubes, or The Count of Monte Cristo, Randy and I just recently watched that, and they're, like, in the tunnels, and there's, like, this cave-in, and, like, anything where I can't, like, get up and stretch and, like, move a little bit, I start to feel real claustrophobic real quick, and I'm like, oh, no, okay, I don't feel like I'm cut out for this. Like, crawl spaces under houses, nope, nope. Oh, well, thank you, Penny. She says, hello, Yvonne. Hey, Penny. Listening to your vlog and want to say that you're a very great speaker. Well, thank you. I get a lot of practice. And sometimes I do have the luxury of editing or reshooting if I just straight up brain fart and just blah, like words stop working. Ooh, Diana asks, hey sweetie, hey Diana, have you ever considered starting a book with some of the wit, wisdom, and goofiness we are blessed to hear from you? I came to your vlog through your other channel. It was my escape while caring for my mom, and after she passed, you gave me something I could do to keep busy and made me smile. By the way, always up for gardens and chicks. Keep being you. Oh. I'm clicking read more, but it's not showing more. I think that's all of it. Gosh, well, first off, I'm really glad to have been able to help you through. It's really hard losing a parent. Even after all this time, I've spent more than half my life without my dad, and I miss him every day. Like, and even now I still experience some of that residual guilt, that feeling, almost the relief of at least he's not suffering anymore, because he was having seizures and stuff, and it was really hard on him. He held on for as long as he could. But I don't think I'll ever stop missing him. And my heart goes out to anybody who, it always feels like we lose our parents too soon. But yes, to answer your question, I have thought about, it's actually my friend Tracy's idea. It was like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. She was like, you need to write a book in your voice of just all this that you talk about. And she's like, call it TMI. Too much info. And it's just stories from my childhood, stories from on the road, little, like, jokes and just things that come to mind. She's like, because at first she had suggested it, and I was like, I don't know. I don't think I have anything that's book worthy, and I am certainly not good at writing, like, creative writing class. I wouldn't have gotten a very good grade. And she's like, just write it in your voice. It doesn't have to, like, just like how you talk. An editor's nightmare. Oops, not in the water. But, and then, I looked into it a little bit more and was like, saw some of the books that are published and actually do pretty well, but are just, I don't enjoy reading some of them. And so I was like, okay, maybe I have something to write about. We'll see. But I should start putting notes down for that. If I never start making it a thing, then it'll never be a thing. I knew it. Every time I shoot a video, there's a train. But yeah, we were gonna call it TMI. Susan Solomon left a really long but lovely message. I'm not gonna read it live, well, not live, but like here on the camera, out loud. But I do wanna let Susan know that thank you for the comment and for just sharing, because it's like, it's hard Aw. Well, Soli says, whichever your channel I watch, you're such a joy. Oh. Well, thank you, Soli. I'm glad. Ooh. Melly asks, I wonder if you will have a full garden this year. I know you have a lot on your plate. Maybe a bi-monthly or monthly quick garden vid vlog would be good as you see fit. She found me through my main channel 2 years ago. Right on. We do have a pretty full garden this year. We're home, like, the only events that we have left this year are Tokyo and Tulsa, Dragon Con, and then Memphis Comic and Fantasy Con. So, and it's May at the time of recording, so I'm really looking forward to being home, focusing on my garden, on my health, on the business, you know, of what we can do out of the house as opposed to traveling and vending so much. And again, our niece coming up and visiting for the month of June I think is just going to be phenomenal. But we're really putting our nose down to the grindstone, and keeping Patreon on track, doing trying to do Etsy sales, and just prepping for Dragon Con because that's our big sales event of the year. But yes, a full garden this year for sure. And I think I'm gonna do weekly, or at least every other week vlogs. I think that's gonna be a good idea. It's just so strange to actually be home. Like we used to do, and I know I've said this before, but we used to do 30 plus shows a year, and now I can't believe we have such little bit of traveling ahead of us. But the house is actually coming together, the yard's actually coming together. We'll see what happens. And also, just so you guys know, I do have, let me latch this down, because we are blessed by the company of Cali Cat. She's the behind the scenes producer of the Vonblogvlog. She's just looking at me like, what? Christy says, working on this stuff for my new Etsy shop that I'd like to open at the end of next week, but I'm not sure how many items I should have to start off. Could you tell me how many you think I should have before I open it? I just don't want to not have enough items that people will not think it's a serious shop. Honestly, like 15 items would be pretty good. Certainly, I think like 5 to 25, somewhere in that region. I would recommend a varied price point. You'll have some things that are maybe just $5 before shipping. And that way, if somebody's like, I like your work, I don't have a ton of money right now, but I really want to support what you're doing, they have an option for there. And then have some showcase pieces that, demonstrate your full capability as an artist, and also the highest extent of your price point. That way people can kind of get an idea, because you can only make as much as what you charge for your work. And you never know when somebody, just because, especially when we lived in Tennessee, we were in a very rural, very, for lack of a better term, poor area of the state. People did not have, disposable income. They did not have, craft shows were always horrible in the area. For vending, they were a lot of fun because the people are great, but people were much more interested in bartering and trading because they were like, I'm on food stamps. I cannot, not even a couple of bucks here and there. I've got kids to feed. And I get that. But you can live in an area like that, because honestly, those are my favorite areas to live, except for we typically have pretty slow internet, because housing is affordable. You can have a nice house for a quarter of the price of what it would be closer to a city. And country folk are just my people. They really are. They never get mad at me for having chickens, because they too have too many chickens. To paint with a broad brush on that one. But living in an area where your local sales might not be doing that great, on the internet, our first sale was to Australia when we were living in that part of Tennessee. And so you can reach such a broad audience, and you have no idea who might be able, be interested in your work and be not just able but very willing to pay more than what anybody locally might be willing to pay. So different local economies in different areas, and being online gives you access to all of that. So I hope that answered your question. Simone says, I'm going to send you pictures of my beach. I'll feed you, just need your tickets. She's meowing at the birds. Scrolling through. Lydia says, thank you, Vaughn. These are the best vlogs and truly bring out the best in me. I'm old enough to be your mom, and I'm paying off my student loan also, so I can relate. Just wanted to say from my heart, thank you for all your positive words. And thank you, Lydia. That means a lot to me. And I feel like aging no thing. L. Jack says, found you through your tutorials and connected with your thought process to this vlog. Now, here we have a message from Bex. And, well, Rebecca Stockwell. It's a very long message, so I'm not going to read it live here on camera. But I am going to take an excerpt out of it. That there's so many things about positive mindsets and all that stuff that is weaponized and used against people who have been unfortunate and who are poor, who have just been bloody unlucky. I see it multiple times a day, especially as a sick person, a person that has to fundraise just to eat and keep from being homeless, and as an advocate for other people with debilitating diseases that have research that is drastically underfunded and the diseases themselves massively misunderstood. This is going to sound super cheesy, but Bex, you are a light of inspiration to me, because you are one of the examples of people who I'm like, you're a harder worker, you're talented, like you've got everything that, that like I aspire to, but just, man, life is dealing you a deck of cards that is just against you, but I've never once witnessed you treat me or anyone else with anything but kindness and patience and compassion. And it's even through all of these adverse things that you're having to overcome, you do it. And you're helping other people. And it's, you talk about, you keep planting seeds. That she goes on to say, that hope is a bitter thing, that it's almost cruel. But you still keep planting seeds. But it's like you plant that seed and just to keep going to that gardening metaphor from episode 2. And for those of y'all who are just chiming in, or just tuning in rather, in episode 2 I had talked a bit about, managing your momentum and planting seeds. And if you believe that that seed will grow, you're more likely to put the energy into it to help it grow. And Bex goes on to be like, I plant the seed, but it's like I'm just at every turn preparing myself for the things that I know are going to go wrong. And that's any experienced gardener. It's the naivety of youth or newness, regardless of your age, that it's like you plant a seed and you're like, yeah, everything's gonna be great. And it's like, well, honey, there's, I'm gonna plant this seed, but I know that there's cutworms, that as soon as that seedling starts, I'm gonna have to put a toothpick in by it. That way the cutworm doesn't come and just chop the seedling off at ground level. I know that come mid-June, these squash vine borers are gonna come through and ruin everything that I have worked for. I know that I'm gonna have to go through and handpick these freaking Japanese beetles that come in and are decimating some of my crops. I know that I'm gonna have to worry about, these hornworms, and it's like, I feel like that's just how life has progressed. But just the fact that you know and you prepare and you do the work, keeping kindness in your heart the whole step of the way, because we've experienced people, Bex, that just, they don't truly function with kindness in the heart. They'll say they do, but they don't. It's like evident through their actions that they are not. And it is, in my opinion, it's evident through your actions, Bex, that you still have very much kindness and compassion and generosity in your heart in the face of all of this crap, that keeps coming up. And just that you do what you do makes the world a better place, and that you keep planting seeds. And not just that, but you intensify the light and nurturing into other people's seeds also. And I need you to know that you're making this world a better place. You really are. And are a shining example to the rest of us of what to do when shit hits the fan. And that's to keep on keeping on. Keep doing what you do, even though it's not easy, especially when it's not easy. And that leads me into a topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about because positive thinking is all wonderful and great and makes you feel really good until stuff starts eating your garden that you've planted and so much positive intent has gone into. I personally feel like if I had to choose between one or the other, granted, I like having both, but productive thinking gets a lot done. And that's, talking about, you plant the seed and hope in your heart and everything, but how are you actually going to keep that seed growing? It helps to look at it through a positive lens if that's just how you look at things, because some people, like Randy, not saying he's a negative Nancy, but he is definitely on the other end of the spectrum from me as far as, like, I am relentlessly optimistic and he is very, very practical. But not in a negative way, but he's very much a productive thinker, whereas I'm a positive thinker is my main tendency. But he has helped me grow into a more productive lens as well. Sorry, getting my words mixed up. There's so many pretty birds around today. How are we actually going to keep this garden growing? How are we going to plan ahead to harvest the fruits of our labor? How are we going to preserve and utilize those fruits of our labor whenever we actually get there? And so through the power of productive thinking, we can actually be prepared for whenever life does as life do, and blights hit our crops, or the neighbors are hungry, the friends and family in our life need help. What are we going to do when we can no longer be our number one priority, and we need to start being there for the people who've been there for us, and things just get hard? So power of productive thinking as well as positive thinking. So, but I love you so much, Bex. Please don't ever stop being wonderful. Like, even when it's hard, and gosh, I want to say that I know that it is, but I feel like just the inkling that you've shared, that's not even the tip of the iceberg of what's been thrown at you. So keep on keeping on, girl. You got this. My foot fell asleep. Oh, and a bug's biting me. Okay. I was like, that's a heck of a pin and needle for my foot falling asleep. Okay, Letty says, hey Letty, finding your crafting videos, blog, and Discord has helped me reignite my crafting flame for sure. I love the crafting community you are building. Me too. Y'all are the coolest group of people. Like, I could have never anticipated, like, how much joy I would derive from just getting to hang with y'all. To answer your questions to us, 1, yes, chickens at the end of your vlog. What a great way to end the Vonblogvlog. 2, I heard my kids talking about watching YouTube videos and wanted to find out what all the hype was about. So I went on to check it out, and your leather corset tutorial came up in my feed, and I watched with amazement. Then I made my husband watch it and kept saying this girl's freaking amazing. That one video ignited the crafting spark in me that led me to dusting off my old crafting bin that was hidden away in the back of my closet, where I found my lost and forgotten treasures. From there, I watched video after video, learning from and enjoying everyone. That's fantastic. Like, high five. Oh. Ah. Kelday, that's awesome. Sorry, it was a longer message, so I wasn't going to read it out loud. But, screw it, I'm going to read it. Okay. This is where editing would have come in really handy, but we'll just listen to, like, the birds holler while I read. She says, hi, Vaughn. Hey, Kelday. I have come over from your main channel to hang out here with you and all the other wonderful people here. After discovering you on the main channel, I started making jewelry to sell. When I heard you mention Etsy, I was like, what the heck is Etsy? Since then, I've opened my own Etsy shop and have sold a few things, but what has been particularly nice is I have had some commission work, which has been really special to me. One of my customers asked me to make her a necklace, earrings, and bracelet out of silver wire and amethyst stones and all matching. Then she said, make it any style I want. Blimey, talk about being nervous. Phew, I really was. Anyway, I made the set and my customer was so over the moon she wanted to pay me even more money. I don't have a lot of money myself, but I never want to become greedy. I didn't accept her offer of more money, but I now have a very satisfied customer who is telling her friends about me. That has given me so much satisfaction and made me feel really proud of myself. And to finish the epic tale, haha, thank you so much for your happy vibes. That's just phenomenal. Like, you nailed it. Like, that's exactly what like, I hope in a similar situation that I would do something similar to that, because I can't think of a better marketing strategy, for lack of aside from just like feeling good and being a nice person and stuff. Like, there's nothing better that a company can do than make their customers happy, like truly happy, and like, not like butt kissing, you know, oh, how can I help you today, like, you know, oh, sleepy kitty. But just that connection and that kindness, like, you're sending out ripples, you're doing a good thing, and I think that'll come back to you as waves, hopefully. Like, is always there's that positive, positive thoughts. So now here we have from Rachel. She says, hi Yvonne. Hi Rachel. To answer your last questions, I honestly cannot remember how I stumbled onto your main channel, most likely through a rabbit hole, as I tend to fall down them quite often here in YouTube land. Amen. It was probably over a year ago that I started to watch crafty videos outside of what my stepdaughter got obsessed with, the world of slime. Wasn't that a thing? Like, I could have never anticipated that being a thing, you know, and it may have been something on chainmail. Right on. To be honest, when I first found you, the humming and giggles during your tutorials kind of hit me like nails on a chalkboard. What made me keep coming back to you, though, was how thorough and non-threatening your approach was and is to listen to. After a short while, your humming and giggles became endearing to me. And now I always look forward to your new posts, mostly because of the light you put out. Oh, and she goes on to say, you planted a seed in me to think outside of my cubicle. I have only one skill in that world, and to be honest, I'm not thriving financially from it. Crafting offers me more avenues, and it's more fun. Thank you for your openness and generosity of spirit. Your brain gears up my brain, so thank you for that. Love and light to you, Randy and the fur babies. Well, thank you, Rachel. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to stop that from, like, you know, it's hard to read intent through written messages and stuff, but it's like to hear that, you know, such a vital parts of me that, you know, I've had to nurture, to let out, because it was so many times being told, shh, you know, sternly as a kid, humming and stuff, that it's like, to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do it anyways. To be like something that's so intrinsically me is nails on a chalkboard to somebody. I'm like, sorry, I guess. Like, I don't not focus on that. But I'm really glad that you're able to derive, even through me annoying you, value, you know, from my work. And I hope that you can always find value from what I do, or that rather that my work always provides value. But I'm really happy to have been a part of your crafty journey. Nicole, hey Nicole, says, you need to stop referring to your heart as my bitter little heart. Trust me when I say you definitely... Oh, a tree just threw itself at me. I think that was a tree at least. You definitely do not have a bitter nor little heart. You're extremely generous and a definite bright light in this odd world. Keep your amazingly positive attitude. It is a balm for many of us and an inspiration. I'm gonna thumbs up my heart that one. I just realized that I can do that. It means a lot to me that so many people enjoy and benefit from what I do, but I do what I do because y'all inspire me to be this best version of myself. Because I think in a lot of y'all's minds, I'm better than what I actually am. Like, I think y'all truly see the best side of me, and that inspires me to lift myself up. But for a long time, granted it was just as a teenager and stuff, but those were pretty formative years. I was a very bitter and resentful and angry person. I was in a lot of pain internally, and I would take that out on myself and the people closest to me. Randy can vouch for that. Um, it's I would push people away, before they even had a chance to get close. It was just ugh. So glad I'm not a teenager anymore. So glad I'm not in high school anymore. Just I was in a really hard spot, and I was not handling it well, dealing with my father's passing and just a whole bunch of mess. And as an adult, there is this cold, closed off part of my heart that whenever stuff starts to get tough, I go there, because it's like, it's the part of me that was formed when my dad died and I found him. My brother had found him, and then I walked in and I saw him laying there, and my brother was giving my dad CPR, though it was too late, and I was on the phone with the police. Like, I'd called 911 because I was a kid. I didn't know what to do, so I called 911, and they're kind of talking us through it, and everything shut down. I had no time for tears. I had no time for anything. It was like, I'm going to do what needs to be done right now. And within a week, the home that we had lived in, everything was gone. I was in Texas with a family that I had never met. It was an estranged sister, that I hadn't seen in 11 years. At that point, it was like, and I was like 13 or 14, so it was like, I had no memory of her as a person or her family that she had, it was, and just trying to survive, just trying to get by, keep doing what, acclimating from, I had been buying groceries from the family from the age of 10 until my dad passed away, to suddenly being forced back into a child's role was very difficult for me. And to live there for 3 years feeling like I was a guest in someone's house. And it's just like, again, so much of it was, we control our perception of the world, but as a teenager, as a young person in this world, you don't really know anything. I didn't know anything. But yeah, there was that part of me that just, little walls up, just focused, to be like, I cannot deal with anything else right now except for just keeping my head down and getting through this. And there was a bunch of other stuff that I'm not even going to go into, but I didn't joyfully laugh without insecurity, without feeling like I'd be silenced, without, until I had met Randy. Because it's like, even with my friends and stuff, I was a horribly insecure, cripplingly insecure teenager, and I was just so wrapped up in my own bitter little world that I couldn't, relate to other people. I couldn't, and I just remember I had let loose and just like was laughing, like freely with Randy, just on the school bus on the ride home. I like the worst dad joke. I don't even remember what it was, but it was just, but that bitter, closed off part of my heart is still there. And I've been able to take these, what had felt like holes from the pain of rape, the facets of neglect, facets of just feeling abandoned, just these different things that had happened throughout my childhood and formative years that had left pieces of me felt missing. Like there was just a void there. Randy had inspired and helped me to, when I realized that I cannot fill that void, I can dump time and energy and effort and, all of myself into the void, and there's still nothing. It's just a black hole, is what it feels like. Now, maybe one day I'll learn the right way to fill in those holes. But until then, he has helped me to learn how to build bridges over, boundaries around, and landscape them into my little fairy gardens. Where, yes, there's a gaping cavern into nothingness right here, but I can sit next to it and be at peace because I've gotten to know, how to not slip down into these things that maybe I'm just not ready to deal with yet. Maybe there's just no closure. Maybe that's just a part of me forever now. It's a broken piece that couldn't be replaced. But so in all of these little pox marks in my bitter little heart, I've been able to add on, these extensions and additions and little landscaped nooks and crannies, and made it into the way that I kind of visualize it, like a nice little almost secret garden that I get to just exist in. And over the past 14 years, I've really been able to turn what had once felt like a desolate place, my inner landscape, for lack of a better term, something that was just felt like scorched earth, turn it into a place where something can grow, where something can grow to fruition and harvest, and more things can grow in its place, like where change can happen without causing chasms of destruction. Because things happen that can break us. If we aren't rubber enough, we break. And I've been able to turn it into a place where the wind blows, not everything falls over, for the most part. But so I can almost laughingly say now, oh, my bitter little heart, because if you don't laugh, you cry. And I've been lucky enough to be able to come a long way. I've still got a long way to go, but I've been able to come as far as I have. And the comedy of it, I guess, almost the dark comedy of it maybe, helps me just be a little bit more familiar with it. So that's why I say my bitter little heart. I guess, I don't know. It's almost the same level of morbidity as like our dad's urn that his ashes are in. Like, we dust them. My siblings keep them down in Texas, but we dust them, and like in the winter my sister will put his watch hat on him, his like old toboggan from whenever he worked security. And like that way dad doesn't get cold. It's morbid, but it's it's how we cope with missing him, one of the many ways. So ooh, Christy says, hi Vaughn and Randy. Hey Christy, I found this channel by way of your crafting channel. The premise of the Vonblogvlog was intriguing, and I am genuinely interested in people's stories, perspectives, and old souls. I just like how down to earth you are, and don't worry about being judged, or at least you don't let it stop you. Oh, you like how down to earth I am, and that I don't worry about being judged. I try not to. I really do. My question for episode 3 is this. Do you ever feel like you are viewed as the weird or unsuccessful one in your family/group of friends because you make choices outside of the typical norm? If so, how do or did you cope with that to keep on being yourself and okay with yourself and lifestyle? I hope that question makes sense. I just feel like I struggle with meeting other people's expectations and trying to please others, and I stress myself out rather than being happy meeting my own expectations. Please share your thought on this. It's easier said than done, I'm not gonna lie, but right from the beginning, nobody was supportive of anything that Randy and I have done. Like they wouldn't, not all of them would actively be like, oh, you're gonna suck at this, like you're gonna fail horribly. But they were just like, tisk tisk, you know, maybe you ought not be doing that. Just because they're not negatively reacting to what's happening doesn't mean that they're being supportive, if that makes sense, whether it's a friend or family or whatnot. But from moving in with Randy whenever I was still in high school, to moving states away from Texas to Tennessee to finish up high school, to starting our own business and quitting our day jobs, not a single time has it suited anyone else's expectations of us. And I had always worried too much about what other people thought. I was a people pleaser, and still am. There's still parts of me that are just like, oh no, somebody doesn't like me, like, and I can't even gauge and yet have control over how and when that affects me. Working on it, but Randy's been blessed with a just generous amount of not giving up about what anybody thinks of him for even a second. He is impervious to the effects of peer pressure or judgment, or he's got a whole lot of just like going on, and quietly so. He doesn't loudly rebel. He just patiently and steadily keeps doing his own thing, and that really helped to have him there as my rock whenever I would be like, well, maybe I should keep trying to start a family. Maybe I should just, do this and that and this other thing. Maybe I should give up on what I think I want to do. And he's like, nah, just keep doing it. You're doing great. And I was like, oh, okay. But it's never once did I ever fit in, even when I tried. Like, nobody I've ever tried to fit in with have I ever felt successful at that. Even my weird folks and my weird friends, it's like, to make an effort to try to fit in just feels like wearing someone else's clothes, that are like shoes that someone else had already broken in. They just don't fit right. And so I went barefoot until I was able to make my own shoes, metaphorically speaking. And it takes a strength that I felt like didn't come naturally to me, but I kept faking it till I'm making it. Being like, if I can't have the confidence that I'd like to have, then maybe I'll just practice. I'll pretend to be confident. That way maybe one day I will be. I hear that chicken laying an egg. But you're not brave by not being scared. You're brave for being courageous when you are scared. You don't say, I am a patient person, and then just boom, you're patient. It's something that can only be achieved through practice of being patient until the thing, of being courageous in the face of your friends and family's judgment. And it's sometimes it can take burning some bridges to get you to where you need to go, to make space for you to be you and to grow and bloom as you're going to, and that can be really hard, but we get to choose our hard. It can be hard living someone else's expectations and standards, and it can be hard looking them in the face and being like, this is me. I don't know what you want, what you expect, but this is me. And I'm doing the best I can. So fuck on. Or however, the dynamic might be differently. A little less inclined to, cuss at your, family's face or something, if that's who you're dealing with. But it's, there are countless people out there who would be blessed to have you in their life. And if the people whose life that you are in aren't going to honor and respect you and your choices, then maybe make room for different people in your life. So, and that's something that Brandy and I went naked into the world. We moved up to a space where, he had his dad and brother and like aunts and uncles and stuff, but we didn't really turn for them to help, very much, because we knew that they were like his dad and brother both were like, well, maybe you should get on at the factory, you know. And his family would be like, oh, how's it going? And we're like, oh, it's going good. Even if it wasn't going good, it'd be like, we lived off of the pear tree and some old potatoes this week, so, but we're doing great. Like, we never said that part. We were just like, yeah, we're doing great. But there was a whole lot of getting invited over to dinner at families' houses in Tennessee, and that made a huge difference. It was just nice to like eat meat and like not rice and bologna. But gonna let the wind pass. As we went in to conventions, to these areas, these arts and craft shows, and met other people with similar goals and similar dreams. They're laying eggs is what's going on over there. But we were fortunate enough to be able to surround ourselves in people who their paths were aligning with ours, in that we were seeing them on the same show circuit. It's the way that I put it when I see them. It's like, we're all in the same sinking ship on this one. We can either like look at each other like, why are you here? Or we can bail water together and help this be a pleasant, successful thing. But we were able to meet other people who were walking similar paths, and that helped a lot. So the more you keep doing what you're doing, the more you'll meet and bump into other people who are doing what they're doing, even if it's just online. And kind of, we just here doing YouTube, we've been able to build up a community. It's to keep writing that same metaphor. If you start a garden, things will grow, and you get to pick and choose. If you want people who are gonna be supportive and, if not also partaking of what you're doing, at least honoring and respecting what you're doing. And if they don't, just weed your garden a little bit. Okay, scrolling. I'm gonna catch some of the. I have noticed. Mind the Corner says, probably no one noticed, LOL, but I've been absent from the streams for life's logical reasons. I'd been hoping that you were doing well. I wanted you to know, however, that I resonate with so much of what you said in the first episode of the Vonblogvlog thing. This is the corniest thing anyone will hear me say, but the encouraging words you say often make me tear up. Dramatic, I know. But like you said, hearing good things from a genuine and kind human being has a flabbergasting healing power. I guess what I'm trying to say is thank you for making me emotional and inspiring me. Knuckle bump. Anytime. Okay. Daniel Knott, who has been a longtime supporter of both of my channels, is actually the one who put together our Discord. Super cool cat, for anybody who doesn't know. Says, hey Vaughn, hey Daniel. I have suffered from severe depression since I started high school at 11. I'm now 24, and no matter how hard I try, I just can't seem to shake it. I think it's mainly because I keep hearing the words and replaying the scenes of what started it over and over and keep re-feeling all the emotions. I'm now too afraid to do anything because I don't want to annoy anyone or get shouted at for either doing something wrong or not doing it the right way or even not doing it at all, as past reactions have shown that that's all I'm good at, and some of them came from close family and friends who I thought loved me. I guess my question is, how do you stop negative comments that come from close family or friends from destroying you from the inside? Again, easier said than done, but I'm a bridge burner, like pretty hard. And I know that that's not right for everybody, but again, my internal landscape, this is my garden. If you're gonna be messing up with stuff, you can get out. So it's and I wish that I could always keep solid in that, because again, as a people pleaser, I don't want to be annoying. I want to do everything right. I want to make you happy the way that you make me happy, or at least, I wish sometimes that I could just push that little mole head that pops itself up out of be like, I'll try to make you happy, and I'm like, no bitch. And it's like, stop trying to make these buttholes happy. Whenever you need to worry about, the gardener, not the guests in the garden. And I resonate so much with having somebody close say something very hurtful or cruel. It's the ones closest to us that can cut us. Somebody that you keep at arm's distance can't stab you in the heart the way that somebody you're hugging, can, or someone who's right next to you. And I try to process it. I try to get into that productive thinking, instead of just positive thinking, because it's really hard to be positive when it's like, yeah, but this happened. That's when we go into productive mode, to be like, yes, this hurts. What am I going to do to keep this from happening again? What do I actually have control over? Because as much as it hurts me, and it does, because I do try to keep my heart open, even whenever it's hard, even when it's hurtful, because if I closed off, then I wouldn't get to have this with you guys, this honest to goodness, genuine openness and sharing and compassion for other people's existence. If I closed my heart off to every time somebody told me that, my giggle's annoying, or that, oh my God, can you just shut up? And it's been I've been very lucky to have weeded out enough people from my life that it's been a long time since I've had somebody messing about with me in person. Most of what I get now is just I catch stuff online, but online friendships can be very, real and valid and influential. So, I don't discredit somebody just because they're my online friend, but, I try to process, what am I experiencing that I do actually have control over. A lot of the times, burning that bridge, blocking them, just not replying, not engaging, just removing yourself from the situation. And it's like, and I've had people angrily tell me, no, you have to deal with this, you have to hear me. And I'm like, I don't. I 100% do not have to sit here in my space with you coming into my life and raining on my parade, criticizing what I'm doing. It feels like, sitting there in my room as a kid and having somebody come in and be like, you're doing that wrong. And it's like, who are you? I did not invite you in here. I had the door open, but you come into my house criticizing me. I'm not forcing you to be here. I'm not walking into your house and doing this in your face. And it's harder as a child because we are in somebody else's house. We are not completely in control of what's going on in our life. And as adults, we experience that maybe still in our home life or in our work life and stuff. But it's like, I'll be poor and homeless before I put up with this. So that's where I've gone, and that's where I've been, and that's where I've been able to build up and be like, I have a life now where that doesn't happen anymore, as far as what I can control. But still, whenever it does happen online, I can only speak from my own experience, but I really hope there's something useful here. But I've had, fortunately, only a couple of folks, but disguised as friends, coming in, being like, accuse me of lying, being very hurtful in what, just I can't even, I can't process. It's like, why, what's going on with them that they're going to put that on me whenever it's like, what? Sorry, horribly vague, I know, but I'm not the kind of person to name names and name specifics because I'm not trying to hurt that person back for what they did to me, but I'll be damned if I ever talk to them again. There's billions of people in this world. We're bound to meet a couple of assholes a day, and I'm real fortunate that most days I don't, and that's amazing. But don't waste yourself on somebody who doesn't deserve you. And I wish that I could remember that and actually feel my self-value enough to enforce it, but it's easier said than done for sure. but that's what I would recommend. That's, you know, for dealing with any kind of negativity, is to be like, is to burn that bridge and walk away. And if you can't right this second, because I know that there's a lot of abusive relationship dynamics and stuff out there, and it can be really hard to get the steering wheel into your own hands so you can control where you're going with your life. But by the power of productive thinking, map out the baby steps to get yourself to where you need to be, so that you can have a little bit more control maybe over your situation and what's going on. So, and then once you're pulled out of that situation, you can start healing, and you can start processing the pain of what happened. So I don't know. I don't know if I actually answered your question. I just hope that was I hope that was helpful to you on any level. But I can feel myself starting to get sunburnt here on this shoulder. The sun's peeking through the trees. But yeah, so that was episode 3. Please post questions for episode 4, because I'm really enjoying doing this with you guys. And I have an idea for episode 4, but I'm not going to talk about it yet. I want to see what you guys think and what kind of questions you guys have. But yeah, I don't know. I feel a bit raw and stuff. I'm going to go just like, I don't know, pet my cat and probably have breakfast. It's 1:45 in the afternoon. I'm gonna go eat breakfast, you guys. But keep on keeping on, because you've got this. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.